Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of Is It Any Good? Today, as you can see here in the studio, we have a trio of Oreos, a tree Oreo, if you will. And I will, and you should too. These ones have been out for a little bit here. This Oreo Space Dunk, I've actually had them sitting here in the studio for, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks now. They're perfectly fine. Just hadn't got around to filming an episode. When I come to find out, Dirt Cake is coming out, and I just picked these up the other day from the store. Get home, find out a third Oreo flavor has come out the same time. This one, though, is the Oreo Thins. I don't know if you've ever had these. I've had them these once or twice. They're a bit of a thinner, thus the name, cookie on there. They've got a bit more of a snap to them. But it's a tiramisu flavor, which I already like the idea of this one here. I like a coffee flavor, so I'm hoping these have a coffee flavor. But we got a lot to crack into, and we're not going to get to it by just sitting here talking about it, so let's do it. All right, well, we've got three different kinds of Oreos to get into. No time like the present. Starting off with Oreo Space Dunk. It's got two different colors of frosting, you can kind of tell there. It's got a pink and a blue, and some assorted space shapes in the cookie bits. I don't know if there's supposed to be a particular flavor with this one. It's called Cosmic Cream. And it does include popping candy, which I have had in an Oreo before. I think they made it's like a fireworks or something like that. And it's like Pop Rocks in the frosting. Let's crack in. All right, well, as we've got it, it's got two different kinds of frosting in here, so we can get that apart. You got a blue, you got, well, you have to take my word for it. There's pink on the other side here. You can't see the Pop Rocks in there, which, I mean, you're not supposed to see it, you're supposed to hear it. So I definitely get the Pop Rocks of it. There's little pops, little crackles in there. I will say, flavor-wise, it tastes like Oreo cream to it. I think maybe I read it's supposed to be like a cotton candy, which cotton candy is not a flavor. Cotton candy is just sugar. So maybe it's supposed to be a sugary kind of flavor to it versus the regular Oreo cream. But I didn't notice anything terribly different about it otherwise. Other than that pop and candy in there, those Pop Rocks in there that are definitely crackled. There's still a few lingering in there, just going off, which is an odd thing. It's, you know, hearing crackles inside your head, which normally I get a lot of pops and buzzes anyway, but this is different. This is self-induced. But that's Space Dunk. One down, two to go. We've got Dirt Cake. Now, Dirt Cake, I don't think I've ever had. I don't think I had that as a kid. I don't remember seeing Dirt Cakes until I was an adult. And it's like a chocolate sort of thing. Sometimes there's some frosting involved, a mousse or whatnot. And then they put gummy worms in it. Sort of like what the packaging shows on here. There's some gummy worms on that. And from what I can see in the package here, that's kind of where the magic is going to be, is in the cookie. I don't know if this picks up on the light here. I know that'll be out of focus. I'll see if I can get a close-up shot of this later. But there are little bits in the cookie of gummy bits. It's kind of a glittery, sparkly sort of look about it. The cookie innards itself, it's got a decent amount of brown. Actually, I'm looking at it closer. There's two tones of brown here. There's a lighter and a darker. I don't know if that means they're going to be different flavors or not. Let's give this a whirl, though. So that Dirt Cake was interesting. The filling in it does have sort of a chocolate mousse sort of texture to it. It felt softer. It felt creamier than the standard Oreo filling. And it had a nice chocolatey smoothness through it. I don't know that there were two different flavors of chocolate. I mean, it's all getting chewed up in your mouth anyway, right? So how can you tell? The little gummy bits on there, they're really just for show. It gives it just that little bit of sparkle on the top of the cookie. I can't tell you that I noticed anything different in the cookie itself. But it did look nice. It was something a little subtle that you could pick up in there. I don't know what else they could have done differently other than maybe put chunks of gummy in the filling itself, but I don't think that would have been good. It wouldn't have come across the same as like how the popping candy does in those Space Dunks. But that's dirt cake. Now the final of the three here, Oreo Thins, which I haven't had Thins in quite some time. They had I think it was a coconut one that was really good. But this had me intrigued as well, tiramisu, which means it should have a coffee-like flavor to it, which I'm hoping that it does. Ooh, that smells like coffee. Before we're even getting in there, I am getting hit with it's kind of a sweet coffee, chocolatey, almost a chocolate liqueur sort of flavor to it, or smell, I should say. Yeah, all right, this already has me interested. I don't know if can you pull apart a thin? Apparently you can. There it is. There's the tiramisu filling. And yeah, it definitely has a coffee sense about it. Let's crack in. Wow, with those, you definitely get that sweet sort of coffee liqueur flavor to it. Again, smelled it as soon as I cracked that open. I got that whiff of coffee. And you definitely get that coming across in the flavor. Also, I think overall with Thins, and again, I haven't had them in quite some time, it's a nicer crunch to it than that thicker Oreo cookie that we're all familiar with. I think Thins are, just as a design, are a pretty good design to go with. It feels like you get a lot more in the package too, even though I did buy the family size. That's all the size it came in, but those won't go to waste. All right, so we've gone through all three of these Oreos, and we'll break them down one by one to see if any of them are any good. First off, we've got the Space Dunks here. Are these any good? And I'm only going to say that really because I didn't get a different sort of flavor in the frosting. It was maybe, or the filling, the frosting, the whatever you want to call it, the cream in there. It seemed maybe a little bit thinner, but overall I didn't get a different flavor. You do get that popping candy in there. You get that Pop Rocks sort of sensation with it. Maybe washing this down with a Coke might be fun. But there was nothing super spectacular about these. They do look pretty. I like the pink and the blue is cool. Space theme is always nice. But nothing super extravagant about these, despite seeing a lot of advertising for them and them being limited edition. Onto the dirt cake flavor. Is this one any good? Yeah, I'll say it is. I like that mousse, that chocolate mousse filling that's in there. You don't really get anything added to it flavor or taste-wise with the gummy bits on there. It just makes a sparkly sort of funfetti look to the cookie part itself. But it's still that cream filling in there, I like that. I like that smoothness. I like that bit of chocolate to it. That was pretty tasty. And lastly, we've got the tiramisu thins. Are these any good? Oh yeah, these are good. Of the three, this is the hands down winner. I like a thin Oreo. I'd forgotten that I liked these thin Oreos, just a little less cookie, a little bit crisper. The coffee flavor in this really stands out. I'm getting whiffs of the coffee coming out of the packaging now. So I don't know if because there's less filling, less cookie, they punch up the flavor in it, but it really gets you with just that sweet coffee, that little bit of crunch to the cookie, which doesn't overpower it. And this would go well with a cup of coffee, which I'm definitely up for doing when we're done here. But it looks like we are done here. So I'm going to go pour myself a cup of coffee and enjoy a few more of those tiramisu thins. And I'm going to see all of you here next time.